Back with another episode of the Nissan GU Patrol build. Today we are doing the full sound system install. So I have a Polaris Universal Max head unit to go in, which is a full touchscreen with your Apple CarPlay, your maps, your Spotify, everything you need on there. And I've just been down the shops this morning and picked up some replacement speakers. The sound is okay in the Patrol, but pretty average, so I'm not going to do anything extravagant with subs and amps and all that sort of stuff, but I really wanted the new head unit and then just some better sound to go with it too. So you got speakers in the front and rear doors of this, so I thought I may as well just do them all. They're on special. I got both these speakers for under a couple $100, but I'll go through all the pricing at the end. So I'm going to do the full sound system, and then I'm not sure I'll get to this today, but got a head console to install as well, plus a couple of other little bits and pieces. But we're going to start with this head unit first. Proudly supported by Outback Equipment, and in part by. This is a factory head unit here that I'm going to pull out. It's just a very basic one that only got like a CD player and radio and that. And then this is your replacement one, so you got a back unit here that goes in, and then you're going to have a full touchscreen that will go there. And we just got about 10,000 plugs and wires and adapters to go into everything. So this is what came with the kit, and then I picked up these at the shops this morning. This, because it's a universal kit, this should make it specific to suit the GU Patrol. Then that is a antenna one, so you can adapt it into the antenna. First thing we got to do, is pull this out. So I got to kind of figure that out. I've never done this before, so figure all this out as we go. There's two screws that go in there you need to undo, but they're not even there. They seem to be missing, so I don't have to do them. But you got to try and get this whole thing out here. I got a couple of your removal tools, so I'm going to try and pop this out without busting it, hopefully. That's your cover plate off. Just got that out with the removal tool, and then you got 4 screws here to unbolt your double DIN unit. Good thing about working on these older Patrols and cars is they're a lot more simpler and basic than your modern ones. Just carefully bring it out, I guess, and undo the plugs. That's the double DIN unit out. We've just got to unplug the wiring at the back of it. We're hoping this is all plug and play, which it should be. I think I got everything that I need for it to be plug and play. There you go. That's it, she's out. So yeah, that adapter should work, because that's going to go, that'll fit go onto there, and boom and boom. So that should work. Got the new head unit out on the table here. It's just a bit easier to set it all up outside of the car and work out all where your wires need to go. Just reading through this diagram now. So you got your main wiring outlet here, and then these are all optional extras which we just double checked and we won't be using. Like that's a reverse camera, which I'm not setting up yet. So this unit comes with a reverse camera, but I'm not putting that on until I put the rear bar on and I can see where I'm going to mount it. This unit can work on steering wheel controls, so you can adapt it into your steering wheel if you want to do that, but I'm not doing that. So yeah, they're all the extras, and then we just kind of got to work out where everything else needs to go, set it all up, and then we can plug it back in. So that'll be to plug your phone in to get your CarPlay. I've just pulled one of your, what are these called? Just pulled one of whatever these are called out of the dash, your like clip plug things. And we're going to drill a hole in it because you have to bring out 2 USB cables to help function the unit. Like one is your CarPlay and one's just a USB phone plug-in. So what we're going to do is drill a hole in it to send that wire through, and then send it up into the back end of the unit. And then that's where my 2 USB plugs will come out. Now it's not exactly the perfect neat setup, but at least then I've got my USB plugs coming out of this hole and I can just use them from there. That's the little setup we just made there now. So that's going to plug back into your dash, and you'll just have your 2 USB cables sticking out that you can use. So there's that wiring fed through, and then this is going to plug into the back of our unit once we set it up here. And there's our 2 USB cords that come out of here. We're just gonna probably put a bit of tape around that to neaten it up. And look, it's not perfect, I'm sure it'll upset someone, but I'm happy with my 2 USB points sticking just out there. And at some point I may get something nicer that will fit them in to have them flush with the system there. But yeah, that'll work more than good enough for the moment. And what's all this stuff? Front out left, front rear out right, subwoofer. We're just trying to work out what to do with these 10,000 different wires and where they all go. So I got the antenna adapter in, and now like these have got front out, sub, video out, rear out, like in there. But then where do the other ends go? Alright, I just rang a mate up, Josh, to ask where these 10,000 different wires go, and he said you don't need to plug them all in. They're basically for when you want to do more advanced stuff, like if you want to also add in, say, a roof console, DVD player, or, you know, TV up there, and then use all this stuff. But he said it's all just extra stuff, so that 10,000 extra wires that confused us, we don't actually need to put in. So we've got everything plugged into the back of it. There it is, just about ready to go in. That's your main set of wires. You got a few extras off it. The only one is a brake line here, which Josh just told me what you do is strip that back and earth it. So we're going to earth that, and it just kind of overrides the system a bit, because what it means is you can only use it when the handbrake's on, when the car's stopped or something like that. So instead of you earth it, it kind of overrides the system. So when the car's actually moving, like, you know, if you've got a passenger there or whatever, they can still play around and use the system while the car's moving. So we've got to do that. We've got the GPS unit plugged in the back, so that's got to get wired down in and set up on the dash, because this is a GPS unit for mapping and all that too. There's our antenna adapter, and then it's got a microphone adapter that goes on the back of it that you can then set up to have a microphone here to talk to people. But I don't really do that while I'm driving anyway. I just don't think I'll use that or need that. I normally like pull over if I've got to make a phone call. We just realised we have to pull the brackets off the old one and put them on the new one, so just doing that now. So if I hold it up, that's your antenna. That's the back of the unit in there now. We just earthed that brake wire on that bolt and the metal there, so hopefully that works. And then from here we'll be able to connect the face in of it.
We're away, bud.
We got it in. You know what I just thought, man?
What?
We might have to put the black unit on. Might pull the screen back off. Turn it on, see if it works. Oh,
We must have done something right.
We got action. We're on. Let's see if our antenna works. Radio. It works.
Yeah, so there you go. That's the Bluetooth.
Nice. I'll have to spend a few minutes going through the settings on this thing, but we seem to have done it right. It's all working. Got music going, you got maps, you got YouTube, emails, photos. You got everything on this thing. We just got to take it back off because we need to fit this back on first. There it is all in. Super stoked of how that came out. That's awesome. Nice big head unit here with all your touch screens. So it has HEMA maps, has YouTube on it, has Apple CarPlay. I don't know, I'm going to have to go right through it all, but yeah, it has heaps of cool stuff on it there, so you can slide it up and down and then you can adjust it around a bit. We seem to have wired it all up correctly because it all functions and works with the car. The antenna works and all that. Time to do those speakers, but I got to head off, so I'm going to have to come back to them later this afternoon or tomorrow, but speakers next. The speakers I went with are Pioneer TSA1670F speakers, whatever that means, a heap of numbers there. I just asked my mate Josh, who knows heaps about all this stuff, and he recommended these ones for good ones, sort of not too expensive, but really good quality sound, he reckons. I just went down to Autobarn and picked them up. They were on special, so it worked out pretty good for me. And yeah, just got the set of 4 320 watt, 6.5 inch speakers. Got to start pulling these doors apart and then, yeah, obviously get them in there. Just using your trim removal tools again. First one is to get this handle off. And I don't think you actually have to unscrew it because that'll come over the top of it. Screw in the door there to undo. Bust that up. 2 more screws. Busted that off. There's another screw here. Pop this clip out. Now just got to work our way around and start getting in with your tool removal and jimmering. What's the word? Jimmy bar. Them off the door here. I'm still trying to work out what other screws and things are holding this in place. There's all your door trimming off. We just had to lever it off all its mounts there, and there's your speaker, and we ripped that one out and chucked the new one in. There's our old speaker out. What's that say? Clarion Max 40 watts. So these are 320 watts. Don't know what that means, but this one's 10 times higher, so 10 times better, maybe? Doubt it. So they're all the same, aren't they? There's no different.
Yeah,
Four
well,
of the same.
that's what I was looking for.
Yeah, I think it's all the same. So they're all this one in each door. So that's your unit. That's a mounting ring for it, depending on how we're going to mount it. And then, yeah, faceplate, which you won't be using. And then you got wiring for each one, which needs to be connected into the back of it here using the clips and plugs. And then I think we're going to have to solder it into the ones in the door. Now you can get plug and play ones, but when I asked the shop, they said they're a special order and it could be a couple of weeks, so I was like, we'll just solder it. So you've just stripped the plug off the end of it and stripped them back to metal?
Yeah.
So cut that wire back a little bit and then solder it on now. So with the wires, you like wrap them around each other a bit, and then solder them together, and then heat that covering over them.
Yeah.
Does it sound good? Doesn't sound like crap?
It sounds fairly clear.
That one definitely sounds better than that one.
This one here?
Yeah.
Righto, well now I can put a little dab of solder on them.
So yeah, seemed to be the right way around. We've got the positive and negative, works all good. We just double tested that. Zach's going to solder those together now and we'll be good to go, put it back together. So what is the tool you're using?
It's just pretty much just a torch.
Does it just mount right there?
Yeah, it lines up like that.
That's the first one done and in. We're just going to leave the doors off while we do the others. That way we can test it all at the end. So now we just repeat that process 4 times. Well, another 3. That's it, all 4 speakers in, working. We've tested them. It definitely sounds better with those speakers. Zach's had to head off, he had a few things to do, but I'll just pop all this back together now, put all those door trims on and we'll be good. That's it, all 4 doors back on and back together. Another dodgy home modification done, sound system. Definitely sounds better with those new speakers though. What I'm going to do now is I haven't had a chance to play around and practice with this new head unit, so I'm going to muck around with that a bit and then go through some of the features on it and how it all works. Alright, it's a few weeks later. I'll try and give a better run through of this Polaris. So I've been calling it Polaris or whatever in this video, but it's Polaris. So I'll give a bit of a run through this Polaris head unit. So this is on Apple CarPlay at the moment. I use Gaia GPS through my Apple CarPlay, which works very well, and then I mainly just use Spotify, and then you got Apple Music, phone calls, messages, maps, all that stuff too. The handy thing is you don't actually have to have your phone plugged in to use Apple CarPlay, so you can just sort of automatically link up every time you turn the car on. And then you've got your standard Apple CarPlay maps or whatever it is, you know, put in a destination and it will map you and take you there, so I use this all the time. And then if you go back home, like you've got your radio here, it does actually have dials under here as well, so you can turn your volume up and down with the dials. And then if you want the air conditioner blasting in your face, then you can still move it down out of the way of the aircon and just move it back up if you're not too worried. radio, another way to access your music, Bluetooth music. This Aussie Explorer here is another mapping software, and that's what has HEMA maps in it, so you can access HEMA maps through there and, you know, map off-road mapping as you're going. But as I said, I'm not normally using the Gaia GPS anyway. You got YouTube, so basically just got an app store somewhere here, wherever the app store is, Play Store. You can go in there, you can just download like all types of apps and lots of different things really. So you can download Netflix. As I said, I got YouTube on there. And yeah, you've also got your volume up and down and power on and off and stuff there. But yeah, awesome little device so far, and definitely much better than just having your classic radio and CD player here. And as I said, I still got to hook up the reverse camera for it, and I'll probably wire up that mic for it at some stage as well. I think I was just being a bit lazy when we installed this too. That way you can like voice activate and run all this stuff too. We'll keep going with the rest of the installs for this video now. It is a few weeks, it's like the end of summer now, and I filmed this first half of this video maybe 5-6 weeks ago now. I just got that caught up doing everything else, so the car looks a fair bit different than what it did in the first half of this video too. But yeah, gonna try and do this roof console now, and then I ordered and got a fire extinguisher bracket, so we're gonna do that too, and then that should be finish off this video. I'll do the price list at the end there too. I asked about this in a previous video because I got a fire extinguisher from Outback Equipment, and then I asked where's the best place to mount this, how do I mount this, and a lot of people recommended these guys, which is Kap Industries, and they make fire extinguisher brackets for all makes and models of vehicles. I think maybe not everyone, but they seem to have a lot on there. You get one that went at the driver's feet or the passenger feet. I went with the passenger feet, and that way it's still easy access, and the passenger can reach that too. So I think it's a pretty easy install. So I'll open this up and we'll get this bolted on. I'm going to mount the extinguisher and bracket onto the Kap Industries bracket while it's out here outside of the car, because it'll be a bit easier to do than when it's actually in there. There it is, mounted on that bracket now. And then that bracket simply goes at the passenger feet here, so we're going to undo that bolt and undo another one in up under there, and then bolt that bracket in that same factory position or whatever you want to call it, using those bolts, and then it'll sit here. 14mm socket for these bolts, and there it is, all done, nice and sturdy there. And obviously when you want to use it, you just whip off these two clips and pull it out, pull your pin out, and away you go. I also had a thought, maybe I could just get the driver's side one too, and then have one at each feet. I don't know, might be better than having the one, but yeah, that's sweet. Got that one in there now, nice permanent mounting position for it. Onto the roof console now, which that'll be a bit more effort for installing that. We'll see how we go there. This is a four-wheel drive interiors roof console. As I said, it's from Outback Equipment. So it's basically got better lighting on it, and then a nice big compartment up there where you can put, you know, maps, wallets, sunnies, I don't know, whatever you come up with really. Once I install it and sort it out, I'll see what I reckon. And you can also mount your UHF up there. I haven't got the UHF in yet, so when we do that, we might look at mounting the UHF up there, but I'll see how I go, whether or not I actually want to put it up there, or you can just use that compartment for something else. Comes with instructions on how to install. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4 pages. That'll be fun. And then here it obviously is. I'll start pulling this thing apart. Firstly, we need to get this old one out. Open your sunglass case here, and there's a Phillips head screw to undo. Pull that off. And then I actually bought one of these trim tool removal kits at the shop the other day, because I've just been borrowing others, but you needed them again for this job, and I've needed them a few times now, so I thought, well, I may as well just get myself a kit. So just gonna have to lever this off, I think, with those trim removal tools, because I think it's just held on by plastic clips up in there. But I'm just gonna get this out of the way first. Boom, that's that old one out there. I'll just undo this, I assume, get that wiring off it. There's your old little one out, put that in the back. Where's that meant to go in here? We're getting there, a little bit of a fiddly job, this one, as to be expected. So I got that front off and we mounted this new bracket and plate here into the roof. We've got this off. Now we just got to try and feed that wiring through to the front one there. Kerry's helping me, who's my dad's mate, who's staying here at my dad's at the moment. That's where I'm doing it. But yeah, we're getting there. It's all in and done. Turned out pretty cool there in the end. Bolted that mirror back onto there, obviously. This is the UHF console compartment, so I may look at mounting my UHF in there, and then you got obviously access to it all, and then there's actually a clip that goes on the side there where you can then, you know, pull UHF down, talk to it, have it right up there next to your head. Because in the past I've put my UHF down here, which isn't too bad, but it's just, if it's sitting down there and someone talks to you, you always miss what they say half the time. So up there would definitely be better in that sense. Got 4 nice LED lights there, 2 at the front, 2 go out the back there for the kids or whatever. A compartment here where you can put all your mapping, or you can, you know, do wallet, Sonny's phone, fit a heap of gear up there. And that's about it. Sweet little roof console and setup. Every week for about the last 6 weeks, I'm like, yeah, this week I'll do the roof console and the fire extinguisher bracket, and then it wouldn't happen. Oh yeah, next week I'll do it. Oh, next week I'll do it. So I'm happy that's finally bloody done. I got those 2 things in. I can get them off my brain of thinking about them all the time. I'll run through the prices of the installs in this video. So the Polaris head unit, $895. Depending on what extras you get with it, it can go up a little bit. Roof console from Outback Equipment, $455. The speakers that I bought, I lost the receipt for them. I'm pretty sure they were $180 on special for the set of 4, like $90 a pair. I think they're normally $110 or $120 a pair. And then the fire extinguisher bracket was $66. And that's about it, I think. A few more awesome modifications done to the Patrol. It's super stoked with how it's coming along. I'll see everyone in the next video. This is the factory head unit here, and I'm going on it too, but I don't think I'm going to use that because just, yeah, I'll have to play around with it a little. Got to head off to do just using your trim remove. Well, so I assume this is where you're in charge, because I don't know what's going on now. Boom, 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 boom. So what do? Just send it in and hope for the best. All right, I'll see everyone.